Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This story today has to do with a dog named Max. It has to do with a pretty important topic too called obedience. Sometimes Zeus isn't the most obedient dog. He likes to go wandering, or maybe he barks too much at times. But at the same time, this teaches us an important lesson about obedience too. Alright, so let's read this one together. This story is called Max Moves In, a book about obeying, written by Linda Porter Carlyle and illustrated by Mary Rumford. Mama wanted a puppy for her birthday. Papa bought her one for a surprise. His name is Max, said Papa proudly. Mama looked at Max. Is this a puppy? She asked. Of course, said Papa. He's only 6 months old. Mama looked at Max. Will he get much bigger? She asked. A little, said Papa cautiously. Mama looked at Max. I laughed. Max was already as big as I am. Happy birthday, dear, said Papa. Now Mama and I take Max for a walk every morning. He has a bright blue leash that fastens onto his collar. Max loves to walk. Max pulls Mama down the sidewalk. He stops and sniffs bushes and flowers and invisible spots on the grass. Good morning, Mr. Wilson calls to us over his fence. Are you taking your dog for a walk, or is he taking you? Mr. Wilson chuckles and cuts a rose for Mama. I will take Max to obedience school, says Papa. Max stands on the back porch with his front feet on the dining room window. He puts his nose against the glass. He looks at me and barks. Max wants to come inside and play. Obedience at school is a good idea, said Mama. Max will be more fun to be around when he has learned to obey. He will be safer and happier. You must be patient with your dog, the teacher says. Some dogs learn very quickly, and some dogs need lots and lots of patience. The teacher looks at Papa and Max. Max bounces up and down at the end of his leash. He looks like a giant fluffy gray and white wind-up toy. You know, says Papa at supper time, we are all like Max. I look at Papa with surprised eyes. The first thing Max had to learn at obedience school was to pay attention to me, Papa says. He has to pay attention so he can know what I want him to do. We need to pay attention to Jesus. We need to know what he wants us to do. Papa and Max practice every day. Max is learning to walk beside Papa and not pull him down the street. But Max doesn't walk perfectly with Papa yet. Sometimes he makes mistakes and sometimes he is naughty. Sometimes he just sits there on the sidewalk panting with his big tongue hanging out of his mouth. Come on, Max, Papa coaxes. Sometimes Max sees something he would like to chase, like leaves or Mrs. Scriven's cat. Come back, Max, Papa shouts. Papa is patient. He keeps working with Max. Papa smiles and says, well, Max, old boy, I love you. We'll try it again tomorrow. I think God is like Papa. God is patient with me. Sometimes I make mistakes, sometimes I'm naughty, but God smiles at me and says, well, little girl, I love you. We'll try it again tomorrow. God, please help me obey your rules because that makes me happy. Help me want to obey your rules because that makes you glad. The end. And then if there's any adults watching, you can pause here and read some different ways to incorporate patience at home. Alright, well, Zeus is showing a little impatience, right? Zeus, you don't want to go and be naughty, do ya? Are you gonna obey? We'll see what he thinks. Oh, see there, he turned to listen. There's lots of times where we have to obey, and sometimes we don't always understand. Why do we have to follow these rules? Why do we have to do this? But it's always because there's someone looking out for us. God always sets his law, his rules, and his expectations because he loves us so much that he wants us to be safe. He wants us to be happy, to really be filled with his love and his joy. And that comes by listening to his instruction because he is God. He knows what is best for us to live our best lives. All right, so have a great rest of your day thinking about obedience, and maybe Zeus and I will practice a little bit of that ourselves. All right, I will see you next time.